I went to a club where I was unaware that the music would be extremely loud. I even asked them to reduce the volume. Although I was only there for 4 hours, it resulted in me getting tinnitus and not being able to hear through my right ear. Can I sue the club management? Possibly, but the chances are low. And it depends if you on whether you believe and you have evidence that the club, for example, acted either grossly negligent or unreasonable. But since it's a club, I guess there's this sort of expectation that the club will be loud and the music will be loud. So therefore, it's you're arguing a little bit against kind of the upstream. So therefore, I mean, but let's say if you could show that the music was overly loud and then overly sort of above the legal limits, and that the club was extremely negligent in taking on board, for example, your request, so you're pleased, but I guess in the context of the music being overly loud. And then also, if you could sort of establish all that the music was above the legal limits, B, you've asked the club to kind of to moderate, and they refused, and then C, ultimately you'll have to have a medical report to show that your tinnitus was a result of this specific event. So I mean, it's possible if you have all the sort of that kind of chain, the cause and effect chain, and more importantly, if it's all documented. I mean, the documentation is going to be quite challenging, and I think, and in general, I guess there is still this sort of expectation that, I mean, it's your own choice. You went to this club by choice, and you were there for 4 hours by choice. So if it was so unbearable, you should not have stayed there for 4 hours. So I mean, you just need to be prepared for these kinds of arguments back. So if you, I guess the short of it is perhaps not worth pursuing unless you have all these documents and it's well documented, and it's important to you, and especially if you have significant medical bills. So and then you can sue the club for compensation, at least for reimbursement of those medical bills. But if your insurance covered most of these bills, then what are you fighting for? So in most cases, when you file a civil case, you have to file for something. You have to request something. So you'd be requesting compensation for what? And in cases like this, the court would want to see actual damages. So if most of your medical bills have been covered by your health insurance, and you don't really have that many actual damages that were out of pocket, that the court would award for you to compensate for the company to compensate you for. So I think all in all, again, depends on what you've got in hand in terms of proof. But I'd say perhaps it may not be worthwhile. It would be a very difficult challenge for you to prove.